Hello. Today I just compare CNN and Fox News on the delivery of the ejection of disinfectants claim made by Donald Trump. The two news sources are two rivals, if you will. CNN represents the Democrats and Fox News represents the Republicans. CNN is a Democrat-oriented news source, and it proved it in the way it delivered the story. It seemed like in times during this video that the person delivering this news, Jake Tapper, was attacking Trump rather than just delivering the news. This is proven by even the opening line. Quotation. President Trump on Thursday did something so incredibly bizarre that some folks are having trouble wrapping their heads around it. Injection of disinfectant into the human body is kind of amusing that is so nonsensical that children laugh about it. Closed caption. The claim made by Donald Trump, although incorrect, shouldn't be delivered like it was on CNN, because the opinions and comments made by Tapper influenced the audience. It has been proven that a piece of information that is heard enough, the human brain will start taking it as fact. Now, although this situation has been mentioned only once, previous CNN reports also host criticisms of Trump in large numbers, which would make long-term listeners have a very strong negative opinion on Trump automatically, no matter the scenario. The ending sequence is also harsh on both Trump and basically all Republicans. The sequence stated, open quotation marks, Republican leaders need to acknowledge the reality of the situation. They need to intervene. They need to convince President Trump to defer to the experts and focus on the needs of it. Not his ego, but the sick and the dying, and the people trying to care for them. There's going to be a history of this era written, and those who are pretending this irresponsibility is not happening will be remembered as villains. Closed caption. While most personal criticisms are understandable, there are too many for a person who isn't biased to express. Thus, I think I have shown enough evidence that this particular CNN news video clip, while delivering the truth, is delivering it with unnecessary biased and opinion-changing comments. Fox News is a Republican-oriented news source. Fox are usually known for being very biased and using unofficial information and or misinterpreting or twisting official information into suiting them. This video is a bit harder to analyze due to the different layouts the two videos have. CNN's video was sort of one-on-one, talk about the situation, what had happened, and this on Fox is this group discussing what had happened and giving their take on the situation. The show is called The Five. In Fox's broadcast, the five people that were talking about the situation were Greg Gutfeld, Juan Williams, Dana Perino, Jesse Waters, and Emily Compagno, each person with a different degree of bias towards Trump. Juan Williams seemed to be the most critical and Jesse Waters seemed to be the most neutral. The others mentioned are biased and defending Trump in different ways. Greg first starts by saying, open quotation mark, well, there's a couple of ways to look at this. There are two things that don't matter and one thing that does. Was it off the cuff? Maybe. Doesn't matter. Was it sarcasm? Maybe. Doesn't matter. What matters is that anyone actually believes that he was saying you should inject Clorox into people. Then, later on, open quotation marks, how can any adult seriously believe that he was saying, hey people, you should inject Clorox into their body? Close quotation marks. In his speech, Greg proceeds to say that the president not being prepared for the speech about the disease that has killed 80,000 people only in America, and if he was being sarcastic on the same topic, isn't important. And the people believing what their president says instead of disregarding him is important. Usually when a governmental body, especially of such high rank, such as the president, speaks on a high importance topic, you would expect the speech to be as serious as possible and well prepared in order to avoid confusion. So Trump being sarcastic is of extremely high importance, and it has raised such a high issue of concern that medical institutions are being called in to see if it's safe to drink Clorox. He shows bias in a way that he drags attention away from Trump saying that it might be possible to inject disinfectants to help fight the pandemic, to how people can be so ridiculous to believe what Donald Trump, the President of the United States, says. Emily Compano, during her speech, seemed to be quite defensive of President Trump. She instantly jokingly undermined that some people did take what President Trump said seriously and that this could be a serious issue, saying, open quotation marks, "Right, I mean you guys, it's how Heather #1 was killed in Heathers," close quotation mark. Though she later would go on to say, unfortunately he, Donald Trump, has to clarify all his comments. And I do think, however, that the President's continued comments on these briefings undeniably offer fodder to his attractors to attack. Close quotation marks. It is obvious that she does understand what Trump said was not the right thing to do, but she also did assume that people wouldn't listen to their president when he was obviously being serious. She does show bias. She defends Trump and kind of assumes that people haven't taken the information seriously, but later goes on to say that there have been certain health agencies that have been contacted to check if it's safe to consume or inject cleaners and other disinfectants. Dina Perino said that the president was taken out of context, which if you watch the video, he clearly isn't. He was suggesting ways of curing or treating the virus, and he was consulting specialists behind him, and he said, open quotation marks, "Then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in 1 minute. We can do something like that by injection inside, or almost a cleaning." But other than saying and defending him in that way, there weren't any other signs of bias. She did defending by saying, open quotation mark, he wasn't suggesting that people drink bleach, close quotation mark, which is correct. He never mentioned anything like that. In conclusion, I think that CNN was more biased than Fox News in this example. In this scenario, it is hard to deduce which news source is more reliable. Both deliver what is happening, but both deliver it with some of their views or emotions. In general, and for this example, I would suggest CNN. This is because they showed more of what President Trump actually said. There seemed to be less of that in the clips that Fox News provided. Also, for all the criticisms that CNN had, they had video evidence to support it, unlike Fox's attempt at defending Trump.